Probably just an isekai protagonist from another world, you know? That's why he's so smart at a young age. Probably some sort of serial killer from another world, you know? All the smart kids are isekai protagonists. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, little shits and little fucks. It is I, MrFonrath, once again, come to watch The Monster, episode 12. In episode 11, there was a bad orphanage. Yes. Apparently, from what I remember, it's been like a week. Johan, when he was but a wee lad, he was in this orphanage called 511 Kinderheim. Kinderheim! And he apparently led some sort of revolution because they were being, like, experimented on by the government or something along those lines. Point is, orphanages, they kinda suck. We met a person who apparently worked in this shut down bad orphanage, and he made us think that he was a good guy. In reality, a child abuser. Ultimately, Tenma found out and essentially kidnapped the kid. I mean, is it really kidnapping if the kid goes voluntarily? Yes, it is. It still is. And technically, I think the guy was his legal guardian, so it's like, I don't really know what he can do. Anyway, let's just get right into episode 12.
Experimentation.
They were running a project
A little
that would
experiment.
turn the children into perfect soldiers. Mental reconstruction. Twisting their minds for science. They made the children form factions to observe the aggression, the fighting, and the hate that resulted. It was an experiment to claw every last bit of compassion out of those children and see what remained. Can you imagine what kind of adults those children grew up to be? And now the problem is there's no way to prove that anything like that ever went on. Any type of data or secret records, all those documents were burned before the wall fell. Everyone who had anything at all to do with the project fled the country. I've heard rumors of someone who remained. He managed to clean his records. He stayed even though he was the last person in the world who deserved a second chance. He was the man who was in charge of overseeing the abomination that was 511 Kinderheim.
Because of course
And
it
even
is.
though he was actually a pediatric psychiatrist closely affiliated with the Ministry of the Interior Police.
A district official.
Of course he
The
is.
Ministry of Welfare.
It's the same guy. Of course it is. Of course it is.
They were careful to cover everything up. Especially after that incident.
Incident? Tell me. I need to know what exactly happened at 511 Kinderheim.
I've said too much already. Such horrible memories.
But I have to know. You must tell me what happened there.
Hang on, one sec.
Please.
Where's my
Why you gotta
soccer
cut
ball?
out? Why you gotta cut me off? I wanna know. But yeah, this kid likes balls. Throw it out the window.
But you gotta hold off on soccer until your wounds heal, alright? That man who brought you in earlier said he was going to pick you up soon.
Soccer?
You just get some rest until then.
You mean football?
Real
Soccer?
there.
I hardly
No
know
one
her.
does. The East German government at the time placed a strict gag order on the event. It all began with the mysterious death of the director of 511 Kinderheim. Soon after, there was a power struggle among the instructors there as to who would succeed him. The place was thrown into anarchy. It was utter chaos. They couldn't even control the children. It was every man for himself. It's a miracle Johan made it out of there alive.
Then what? What exactly happened at 511 Kinderheim?
Everybody there died.
What?
All of the instructors and every last orphan except Johan. Those people massacred each other.
Interesting.
Dieter?
Everyone fucking died. I'm trying to like write some things down. They killed themselves. Or each other. I've seen, you know, drawing on my previous experience of previous stories that I've read and seen, you know, I've seen a couple of scenarios where people kind of end up, like a group of people end up killing each other. But oftentimes, more often than not anyway, there's usually a reason. As in, like, they don't just go insane. Either there's some sort of hallucination, mass hysteria of some kind, maybe some drugs or something, or some sort of gas bomb maybe, or something that like makes them all hallucinate and then kill each other because they think they're aliens or something.
Time to gather up your things, honey.
And there comes the guy. Yep. Predictable. I mean, that's kind of what I said, right? You know, if he calls the police and, you know, the police might check in, especially considering he knows that the child was injured and, you know, Tenma was like, I'm gonna take him to the hospital. Or even if he didn't say that, he would have just predicted that, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if he can just call up the hospital, even without the police. He can probably just call up the hospital, ask, you know, if a boy with certain injuries was just brought in, and then just say, hey, I'm his father. And they will let you see him 100%. And I don't think there's much he can do. Tenma, I mean, how? You need to get the authorities involved, but the problem is, you know, Tenma doesn't have any leverage.
I don't want to go back there.
He like has no leverage over the situation. That's why you know, like legal guardians abusing the children and the children not saying anything, that's why that's always a problem. Because it's not a simple thing to solve. It's not a simple problem to solve. If the child doesn't say anything to the authorities and like there's no proof, then it doesn't matter if everyone knows that the person is abusing him. There's nothing they can do, you know? They need proof. Like, I don't know how much a child's testimony actually is considered, considering, you know, if the child is like, what, like 10 years old or something or less? Like, how much do courts really give a shit about that testimony? You know, if the child is saying like, hey, this guy is constantly hurting me and beating me and, you know, beating me up and stuff, you know, if the guy says the kid is lying, then who do you believe, you know? The kid is lying because he doesn't like me. Now the kid says, he's beating me and every so often hurts me and like stuff like that. But again, like there's no evidence. So like, who do you believe? Do you believe this little child who's like 5 to 7 years old? Or do you believe the adult who seems completely normal? You know, you'd like to believe the child, but at the same time, kid is young, you know? The kid is really young.
Peter, come on now.
Peter?
Be a good boy.
Peter! Peter! Why do they all look so creepy? Look into my eyes.
What do you mean? I told you not to let Dieter leave with anyone until I came back, didn't I?
But all I did was...
That person was the child's foster father. And let me tell you, he was very much a gentleman. Unlike you, obviously.
Look, I'm sorry, but that man...
I wouldn't worry.
Yep. It's always the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry, but that man is that... It gets interrupted.
I seem very happy to be going with him.
Dieter!
Like, I'm not gonna say that it's, you know, bad writing or anything, but it's a little, especially in this case, at least in this case, I feel like if Tenma just kind of went and said, hey, that guy is not his father, he's just the legal guardian and he is abusing the child. That's why I brought him here to, you know, help with the injuries that the guy just caused him. That's why I told him not to leave with anyone. I feel like these nurses would be like, oh shit, you know? Like, maybe he's telling the truth. But because people interrupt him and don't let him speak, then it's like no one knows the truth except for him, and only he can do something. You know, I feel like, okay, stretching a little bit, but like, it's still fine.
Dieter, I'm here!
Dieter, I'm here! Peter! Is it Peter or Dieter? I think it's Dieter, right?
Dieter?
Dieter, yes.
They're not back yet.
Debatable. Okay, okay. So, if I was Tenma, I would not stay here for very long. The reason being is, as I said, the guy is the legal guardian of the child. Especially if he called the police, and then the police told him that the kid is in the hospital. He might have just said, oh, the kidnapper might come back. They might have set a trap at this fucking location. The second I would see that they're not here, I would leave. Because, I mean, it seems like a trap, you know?
Hartmann's library.
Because obviously, either they came here or they didn't. Because, like, the child was taken from the hospital before Tenma got back. Which means it doesn't make sense that they would arrive at the apartment after Tenma, right? Which means they must have gone somewhere else. Could also be that the Mr. Mo, right? Last name Lester, Mo Lester, right? Mr. Mo might not want to get police involved, so. Yes, notice how all the children are not smiling.
These photos were taken at different times, but they were all shot at the same location. So what am I looking at?
What are you looking at? Oh, shit.
Johan.
Yeah. God, that is a good little detail. Okay? That is an insane detail. Dude, every photo that they show, kid is not smiling. Kid is not smiling. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. I thought all the kids did not smile. I mean, most of them don't, seemingly. But anyway, I was gonna say that all the children are not smiling, and then you have Johan, who is smiling, right?
Johan. Who's the man in the photo next
Good
to
question.
Yes, that's it.
Is that the
Every
director?
single one of these photographs
Died
was taken at
mysteriously?
511 Kinderheim. And it looks like they were taken over 10 years ago.
All of the instructors and every last orphan except Johan. Those people massacred each other.
You know, if I was Tenma at this point, I would be wearing gloves, like all the time. First off, he's wanted. Secondly, they have fingerprint technology. Okay? Thirdly, you're touching potential evidence with your bare fingers. Not a good idea. So I would like, if I was him, I would just constantly be wearing gloves.
Dieter. Could he be another?
I mean, it seems like beyond just, 511 Kinderheim being like a government child experimentation house. it seems like the people working there, or at least this, Mr. Mo, seems to be doing it not for the government, but rather for some sick, and twisted personal kinks. Balls. Who's kicking the soccer ball? Imitating Americans. The soccer ball. Obviously, it's a football. Come on. No. Oh my god. Come on, Tenma. Tenma. Come on. Come on, man. It's obviously a trap. Kid is sitting there. The ball is kicked. Why? Look around first. Please, Tenma. Please. You're smarter than this.
Hold on, Dieter. I'm coming.
I'm coming! And yeah, you see, like, too predictable, Like, you gotta be a little bit more careful. When you see a chest in the middle of a room, right? Look around first. Don't announce your presence, especially if you're sneaking in. And then when you see your target, don't go like, oh, look, that's my target. Like, come on, man.
This
I get it,
is blind to what I show him.
But still.
He can't see it. He can't even comprehend what Johan saw. He's not like him. It's no good. It has failed again. This boy is no Johan.
So what is this guy's plan? What is this guy's like? Not really sure what he's trying to create exactly. It's all like he's like looking for someone like Johan, but like, why? What's the, why? What's the why?
Every single one of them died here. Did you know that? 10 years ago. The instructors.
Bullet
And
holes.
the orphans. All 50 people died. Johan sat here, just watching it all happen. He just sat here and watched everything. He didn't lift a finger. He just watched.
If everyone died, quote unquote, if everyone died, how do you know the story then? If Johan was the only survivor, how the fuck do you know?
I had to know his secret. So I asked Johan what he'd done. And this was how he answered. He dropped a piece of oil-soaked cloth into the fire, like this.
What? Is that supposed to be like, there was already a lot of tension and then he just kind of fanned the flames by manipulating them behind the scenes kind of thing? And then maybe saying to all the children that, oh, let's revolt and stuff like that, and came up with some sort of plan, basically setting things up so that both sides would essentially kill each other somehow.
Do you get it? Do you know what he meant by that?
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, someone had to survive. Or rather, someone had to be the last one standing. And then Johan would have to kill himself. Right?
I simply added a bit of fuel to the hatred born when people come together. It was easy. That's what he told me. Only 10 years old, and he said that. And he did it with almost no effort at all. He was able to make 50 people kill each other without even moving a finger.
It was you and your damned experiments that twisted Johan into what he is.
So
Doubtful.
you think it was us? I'm sorry. It wasn't us at all. We didn't make him that way. It's true that 511 Kinderheim was an experimental project, specifically created to transform orphans into perfect soldiers. Thinking back on it now, it really was only a little experiment. As for Johan, he's no soldier. He was better. He was a natural-born leader of men, someone who was meant to stand at the very top of the world. There's no way we could have ever created such a work of art. He was beyond human from the beginning, a veritable monster. Johan made a prediction. He predicted that mankind would end up hating itself into oblivion. And what do you think Johan's goal was? Do you want to know what he told me? He said he wanted to be the last person left in this world. It's a pity. Why are you such a failure? Why can't you be more like Johan? Tell me why!
Drop the gun or I'll shoot! Don't you lay a finger on him, Hartman!
Get out of here. This is our problem. It's none of your business. Just leave!
Dieter! Come down from there!
Sorry, Dr. Tenma. That's right. You were wanting to know more about Johan. What were you planning to do once you knew more? When you find Johan, are you going to try and kill him? That will be impossible. Don't look so mad. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. But in exchange, once you hear it, you must leave immediately and never come back.
Sure. Sure.
You should search out a General Wolf. He's the one who first discovered Johan and his abilities. I'm sure he's still alive somewhere.
So is he the man in the photograph? The one in your study? Is General Wolf the man standing next to Johan?
He's the one who brought Johan to us. He should be able to tell you something. Now, get going.
Dieter! You can come with me or stay here, but you have to decide for yourself.
I don't
There's
see
nothing to worry
how...
about.
I don't see how it's up to him in this case. It's a hostage situation. I mean, I don't think Mr. Mo is going to just let him go. I don't think Mr. Mo will let him go. He'll grab a bow and piss in the snow.
If Hartman does anything to try and stop you, I'll shoot him!
You know, I'm laughing with him because how does that make sense? If he tries to stop you, I will shoot him. He has a gun. He can just shoot the kid and then the whole, you know, the whole point is over. You know, there's no point then. You're better off just shooting him straight up.
Dieter, listen to me. The choice is your own.
I don't
Nobody
think
else
it
can
is.
make it for you.
Go ahead, tell the doctor. There's no way you'd leave me. Now would you? You can't live without me, because you're my child, Peter.
Again,
Now you
I
see
don't
how
think
it
it's
is,
up to
Dr.
him.
Tenma. You can leave.
I think wasn't the whole point that the guy Mr. Mo brought the kid here to kill him? Because he wasn't like Johan?
Where are you going?
It's all right. It's okay. That's good. Nice and slow.
Dieter! Come back here, my dear little Dieter! Dieter! Do you really think you can live without me? No, Dieter!
Make a move and I'll shoot, Hartman!
I love you so much, Dieter! Dieter!
I'm not gonna lie, I think this scene is a little bit weird. Cause like I thought Mr. Mo brought the kid here to kill him. That's why he has the gun. Right? If he wasn't going to kill the kid, why did he bring the gun? If he brought the gun to kill Tenma, because he predicted that Tenma would come, why isn't he just shooting him? And if he doesn't want to kill Tenma either, then why bring the gun in the first place? There, like I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm missing some sort of thought process. I don't know.
The world is dark. The future is bleak, Dieter.
The future is bleak, Dieter. Peter.
It's not true, Tenma told me. Tomorrow will be a good day.
Dieter, he's wrong!
Be brave, Dieter. Don't be afraid.
Dieter! My boy! Dieter!
Well, Mr. Mo was definitely
Get on the bus here and take it to Cunin Street. You got that? The orphanage is there by the bus stop. When you get there, I want you to give this letter to Elna Tice. I can't stay in this town anymore. So I guess this is goodbye. The bus will be along in a few minutes. Take care, Dieter. Keep up the soccer practice. I'm sorry, you can't come with me. Here. Dieter, I'm telling you, don't come with me. I'm serious, okay? You can't come with me, Dieter.
Okay. That's a weird place to leave it off. Is he just gonna follow him around, or Tenma was like, I mean, obviously, for very good reason, not gonna take a child with him, right? Makes sense, fully. But like, if the child wasn't gonna go with him, then why are they making it seem like the child is gonna follow him around, you know? Okay. You know, I fucking love the background info. The little bit of background info we got of Johan when he was a little lad. Seemingly, you know, in his words, he just added fuel to the flame, which is what I kind of expected. But, you know, obviously I end up thinking in more detail. So for instance, like, how is it exactly possible for Johan to convince the two sides, you know, the children in the orphanage against the superiors or supervisors or whatnot? You know, I'm sure it's easy enough to, like, lead a revolt or something, but you have to manipulate things to the point where you have to be sure that both sides will die. I'm sure it is possible somehow, but they just kind of glossed over that. Now, I don't mind that at all. It just makes him seem smarter than he should be for his age. But again, he is the monster, so it is what it is. Probably just an isekai protagonist from another world, you know? That's why he's so smart at a young age. Probably some sort of serial killer from another world, you know? All the smart kids are isekai protagonists. I will say, you know, as much as I love this show, this episode, especially at the end here, the whole ending scene with Mr. Mo, that's what I call him. His, you know, his first name Mo, last name Lester. I feel like this scene just somehow didn't make sense to me. Like at the end here, I mean. You know, he brings out the gun and then aims it at the kid and is like, "You're not like Johan at all." Oh my god. You know, I've been trying to find a kid like Johan, but you're not like Johan at all. Points gun at kid. Right? So, like, I thought the whole point was that he was gonna kill the kid and then take another kid in, and then so on and so forth, right? He's looking for the next Johan. But Tenma, instead of, shooting the gun out of his hand, because, that's how usually these stories go, he's like, Dieter, come to me. If Mr. Mo tries to stop you, I will shoot him. But what if he's trying to kill the kid? It's not like Tenma would know, right? He's aiming the gun at the kid. So the first thing you would think of is, oh shit, he's trying to kill the kid. Or keeping him hostage. He's using the kid as leverage against you. But in that case, it's not like he's the police. You have a gun, you can shoot him. If you don't want to kill the kid, just shoot him instead, right? He doesn't want to shoot the kid, he doesn't want to shoot Tenma either. But then why even bring the gun? Why even, I don't know, it just seems weird. It doesn't make sense to me. And then on Tenma's point of view as well, it's like the guy is putting the barrel of the gun at the kid's head. I mean, the first thing I would think of is, don't do it, I'm gonna shoot you. If he dies, you die. But even then, I think the best thing to do would just be shoot first. Because if he shoots the kid, you've lost. And you don't know, maybe that's his objective. But then again, he would have probably just killed the kid earlier already. So, okay. So in Mr. Mo's case, don't shoot me or I will shoot the child. But in that case, the kid walking towards Tenma doesn't make any sense. Because, again, Mr. Mo could have just grabbed him and held him hostage, because that's the whole point. I feel like the scene would have made more sense if Mr. Mo didn't have a gun. He didn't bring a gun. And he stands next to the kid and holds maybe an arm on his shoulder or something. Right? So Tenma is not gonna shoot. Because, he's just not gonna. And then it's like, hey, I'm holding a gun to you. Don't move. Dieter, boy, come away from him. And then the boy has to make his decision of okay, I'm gonna fight against this, right? And then he walks. That's fine. Maybe somehow I'm misunderstanding the situation, but I don't know. So something about this just feels weird and something doesn't make sense. It's just, I don't know. And obviously, for obvious reasons, I hope that the kid does not follow Tenma. Otherwise, it just, for story reasons, doesn't make sense. Character decision reasons, it doesn't make sense. Tenma would never allow this. And overall, just having some kid dragging Tenma down, not gonna be a good thing. Not gonna be a good thing at all. And yeah, that was episode 12. As I said, a little bit weird with some of the things, but overall, good episode. We solved Mr. Mo's little storyline, I think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in episode 13 of Monster later.